Let everybody have a moment to come in. Welcoming each of you to this attunement call to the Quantum Spine School. We'll just take a moment to open the field, to welcome the soul family that has been guided to come onto this call today, has been guided to come onto the replays, because the Quantum Spine School isn't just a school, but it's a calling. It's a soul calling. And a lot of you that have worked with me in the past have worked with me in some way or another with your spine, whether it was when I was your psychotherapist, maybe it was when I was your yoga teacher, or maybe it was when I was your chiropractor. Maybe I taught you while I was teaching in the chiropractic college, and maybe I taught you while I was teaching for epienergetics, or any of the other coaches that I've helped facilitate in their containers and communities. Why do I work with the spine? Because the spine is the clearest channel, the clearest conduit that literally anchors right through the central channel of our human being. And our spine is alive. It's a living, breathing, vibrating, pulsating, conscious entity. And it lives within us. And it articulates through our nervous system channels. It articulates through our meridian channels, our pranic channels. It lives within this pranic tube, this energy tube. And basically, when you're born, that tube is pretty clear. You're a pretty clear channel. And, that's why we love babies. We love being around babies, right? Because there's something so special about a being that had never seen this 3D world before, that just enters this world with its own consciousness and its own energy field, its own spine and nervous system. It enters this field of humans. And we've all been around for a while, right? So we've been like figuring out how to live here. But this is like a brand new being that arrives here with this very clear channel to where it was just moments before, right? In the void of what was before the sperm and the egg came together and started creating this life and this consciousness that became you and you and you and you and you. So the babies really hold the most pure essence that we could find here on planet Earth. And then we have this vessel, this body, this vessel that we then learn how to move around this world in. And it gets kind of mucked up. It gets mucked up with, traumas. It could be, you pick up a toy and then you're told not to pick up that toy. You're only 2 years old, but everybody starts screaming at you because the toy has a sharp edge on it. And you don't realize the danger of the sharp edge or the rational reason why everyone's yelling. All you got was, oh my gosh, I'm bad. I'm a bad person. I'm in trouble. I'm being punished. I'm scared now. I'm a receiver of everyone's fear because I picked up this toy. And then we hold that within our nervous systems and within like how the body keeps the score in the garden, in the soil of our bodies. We hold that like this place where our full self can't live. And we're so little that we don't even know why, right? And then we have like other traumas, like not being picked for a team in sports. I know they're a lot kinder about that now, but in my generation, it was like fair game to basically like leave someone out. And it can be traumatizing to leave someone out because it's that wound of not belonging. And at the core of each of us, we have this desire to belong. Our nervous system is actually the ventral vagus nerve wants to belong. That's its job, is to create like social interaction and social community so that we know that we belong to something. And so that creates traumas in our system. And then some people have like really big traumas, physical abuse traumas, emotional abuse traumas, mental abuse traumas. And we know that trauma gets buried into the garden of our body until our body has enough resource to be able to go in and be with what's there, to go deep and be with what's there, then to create enough agitation energy to start to alchemize the energy that's there. And then we begin to expand ourselves from there. And then we integrate the experience as we grow. That's literally like how I work with everything. It's like we deepen, then there's some agitation, and then there's some expansion, and then there's an integration of the self that actually grew beyond the trauma. Because the way that I see it is, no matter the trauma, no matter the pain, and some is really heinous and some is really debilitating, it's all there as fertilizer for your soul expansion, ultimately. As painful as it is at the lower levels of observation, at the lower levels of consciousness, at the lower levels of perception, when we don't see the bigger picture, we don't see the quantumness of why things happen to us, then it may seem like a singular event that we were victimized by. But in reality, your real reality is that there's a big quantum experience that's happening and we're connected to it all. And the traumas and the pain and the disconnections are all fertilizer that are actually creating density within our systems for our soul to actually go through those steps and expand in an integrated way. When we don't integrate, we sometimes pop out and we start looking for like to live on the top of the mountain, to have this enlightened experience all the time because the density is so painful. And a lot of people get stuck there, right? Like way out there in the cosmos. That was me. Like, oh my gosh, it's so much easier out here in my head, visualizing my life and visualizing that I'm, part of something bigger. But the truth is, at some point, every one of us craves the deeper connection that occurs when you're connected with one another through these bodies. And ultimately, I believe that's why we're here, right? For this big expanded part of us, this thread of us that came from source, that is coded with our soul, came here to be in these bodies, to experience what it feels like, to experience pain and challenge, to experience disconnected, to experience the things that fertilize us, to actually be invited into initiation to grow and evolve and be our full self. And everyone in the Quantum Spine School, one way or another, I know is attracted to being their full self. So I want to invite you in. When we have this vessel that's holding our pure essence, our pure full self, it doesn't know how to drive in the beginning because we came from like that pure place, and then we're like the baby and we're learning how to drive this vessel that it doesn't even know how to walk yet. It doesn't know how to talk yet. All it can do is make sounds and noises to initiate a conversation around its pleasure or its pain. And then we start to get emotions and then we get words, and then we create stories, and then we create meaning, and then we create like soul connection and creativity, right? Ultimately, that's what our soul is here for. It's like, let's play and create. That's it. Let's play and create. All the other stuff is actually just conditioning us for the way that our soul is actually here to play and to create. So the things get muddled, our channel gets muddled. And when our channel gets muddled, we're driving our vehicle, right? And our vehicle is like here for us to play and create through. But what's happened is, because we do have this fertile soil that is needing the richness of our human experience to happen, we'll drive our vehicle and then we'll start to yield rather than flow, or we'll start to brake rather than flow, or we'll speed and we'll try to go too fast through things rather than flow. Or, sometimes we spin out our vehicle. And all of these things are pointing us to what we need to observe and alchemize for our full expansion. And, the soul is ultimately here to show us to guide us, to show us what our calling is. The soul is here to show us what our calling is. And when our spine is open, when that channel is open for like the soul energy to like move all the way through our bodies, to move all the way through us, we have openness and acceptance for that to come through us, then the purpose of the soul energy is to guide us. And it's, when you're not in your head, and when you're not stuck in emotions, and when you have enough energy in your body, enough fuel in your body, enough energy, then it's, kind of easier to kick back and connect with your higher self and get downloads and get understandings of your purpose and why you're here, and to be guided and to be able to kind of like put your foot on the gas and go. And the mind is here to actually like know your direction and be able to like stay focused on the direction of your soul. Emotions are kind of like the speed that you're going to be driving your vehicle. So when your emotions are really coherent, then they're going to dictate like the actual correct speed of driving your vehicle. And then the body, the physical energy, is like how much gas is in your car, how much fuel is in your tank. And I'll tell you, many people are driving on empty tanks, and they're wondering why they don't have access to like a more focused, clear mind, or more access to emotions that are able to just like flow freely and easily the way that they're intended to. So in the Quantum Spine School, we're going to be looking at all of these things. Like, how is your particular spine, how able is your particular spine able to have the energy that it needs so that your soul and your body can integrate into your full self being here in this life and inspiring others as well. Because it's not a school to learn a technique on how to do what I do or do what any of the teachers in the school do to heal others. And I'm really clear on that. This is a place where you will actually get all of that, but it isn't the intention. The intention of the school is to help each person that's here have the deepest, most fulfilling connection with their own body and their own like quantum purpose than ever before possible, especially when you're just plugged in to the cultural matrix, meaning like everyone around you at the grocery store and at the school and in politics and all of the places where it's like, we'll just say mainstream, right? Or the middle part of the bell curve is where most people kind of hang out, and it's expected to hang out there. And that's why a lot of times we dumb down and dull our energy so that we could fit in with everyone else. But that isn't the purpose of you. The purpose of your soul is actually not to fit in with everyone else. It's actually to come through and bring the thread that is yours, the thread that is you, that is interwoven with the tapestry of everything. That's why you're here. You're not here to fit in. You're not here to be liked by anyone. You're not here to be nice. That's not why we're here. Sometimes those things come off of our authenticity. But if we're leading with any of those things, then we're abandoning our soul's purpose for being here. So I'm going to go through the sales page for the Quantum Spine School and just show you some of the crux of the education and the main pillars that we're going to be going through in our time together. I don't want to keep you guys on the call too long. I'm going to be available for any kind of questions and conversations you want to have about this between now and the start of our first lessons. So give me a moment and I'm just going to bring that up here. Okay, here we go. Okay, Quantum Spine School. Get in early for surprise bonuses, and they've already been happening. So the sooner you get in, the better. Right now, I have the students working on an intuition course that I created. And we have some other really great bonuses as well. One of the big bonuses that you want to get in on is that if you get in, I think there's a few spots left, you'll have both of the live hands-on trainings for free. And that's a $1,500 value just right there. And that is basically when we come together in Marin County and we'll be working on spines and we'll be working with the energy field and we'll be working with all of the teachings that you've been receiving in our course. So we begin September 11th. A lot of you know I opened a yoga studio on September 11th, and it was such a successful school that I had opened, my yoga school. And it really happened because we all came together in grief on that day and we were so present. I knew none of these people. All I did was light a candle in the center of the room and people shared their grief and we moved our bodies and did some breathing. And that community was so strong. And as I knew I was opening the school, that date felt really important to me. So that's going to be our opening ceremony on September 11th. I hope you can come. It's going to be Pacific time, 12 to 1:30. And we'll be like grounding the frequency of the school. I'll be giving you some teachings. You'll go through a meditation process that will give you some information about yourself. So it's definitely going to be worthwhile and a beautiful ceremony to open. So have you come here to remember the true codes of freedom, energy, and embodiment? Become a quantum spine healer. I want you to know that this school is for you, even if you're not a healer by profession. And this came to me while I was just in Sardinia, and I was feeling this energy in Sardinia of the witches called the Strega. And a woman came out of this cafe where I was sitting outside of a cave where there were like these caves in the mountains that became burials for the witches in Italy and in Sardinia here specifically. And the woman told me that the Strega were considered the witches, But what was incredible was that they're not witches because of like the overt witchy things that they're doing. They're considered witches based on just the way that they naturally heal one another and heal the community and heal the children and heal the politics and heal the planet, just by the way that they're being, just by the healing that is in a woman's bones, a remembering of the healer within that lived within each one of our bones, that it just the everyday things that we do are healing. And we've lost that. The majority of our culture have lost their connection to energy, have lost the connection to presence, have lost the connection to the deep feminine codes that are for all genders. The deep feminine codes are awareness of energy, energy as a language. And so we'll be teaching that deeply here, to release the headiness, to release the mental masks, to release the reliance on mental concepts and frameworks and blueprints and structures for our knowing, and to collapse that field so that we can come into the energy of our being and trust how energy works between our spine and the universe. And to be able to connect with those codes, to touch the earth and bring healing back to the earth, to touch our hearts and bring healing back to our hearts. When we work with energy, we're working with the primary language of the universe. And we work with quantum energy, we're able to make changes in the quantum field, in the energetic field, in the subtle body that makes immediate changes in the physical that you could never, ever make when you're working in the physical directly, because the physical has so much density and bound up energy and tension and trauma and all this stuff that you have to get through to be able to make a change. So we work in the quantum field because in the quantum field, you can make immediate changes within the physical body that are long lasting, the way that we do it here. So, and that's why we clean things out inside, so that there's more space to be able to be receivers of the codes from our universe, and to also be a broadcast of a clear signature from our spine, and not this muddled up sort of like messy, incoherent message that we're broadcasting out to everyone around us, including the universe that's listening consciously to us and is responding to us all the time. We're consciously or unconsciously in a dance all the time, infinitely, with our universe, because our universe is conscious, and it's the broadcast from our spine outward, which is basically it's like the frequency of everything that we're holding within us is broadcasting out, and the universe is responding to that all the time, whether we're aware of it or not aware of it. And when you become more conscious of what you're broadcasting, and when you become more conscious of what you're attracting, life becomes masterful. Health improves, emotions improve, connections with our people, intimacy improves. The way that we live our life, the way that we're leading our life, we realize, because we're grounded and landed in our own feet and our own legs, we start to realize that this life is ours, and it's ours to create with. We're not a victim to it. This is our creation. Life is our creation. And the thing is that the cultural field can be strong when it's all you see. And therefore, in community like this, we come together so that we see beyond the illusion of the culture. And we see that we're so much more. And when I see that in you and you know you're being seen in that way, there's something in you that rises to the occasion. And when you see that in me and I know that I'm being seen, there's something in me that rises to the occasion. The occasion is your full self. So this is a journey that will reveal your full self from the outside in and the inside out. The Quantum Spine School will support you in remembering how ancient and future healing comes through embodied quantum energy medicine. You are invited to step forward with me into your power as a holder of energetic wisdom for yourself and as a catalyst for others. The most precise language of the universe is energy. This is a feminine-centric path where we claim the sensitivity of the body before employing the conceptualization of the mind. When the energy comes first, that's the freedom. That's the freedom of our full expression. And then we can call in the mental concepts as protection, as a way of creating relevancy with others, being relatable with others, packaging up this thing that we are, which is our essence. But if the mind comes in too fast, a lot of us don't know what our essence is, and we're really disconnected from our essence, unfortunately. True healers are the leaders and change makers of the new world. Yes, 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 100%. It's not the politicians, it's not the Rockefellers, it's not the steel makers. It's going to be healers that know how to work with energy that are going to be leading the new world. Here's your invitation. Healing, self-mastery, and soul alignment are infinitely enhanced when coherent with the subtle energetics available to us in our shared universe. Healing, self-mastery, and soul alignment are infinitely enhanced when coherent with the subtle energetics available to us in our shared universe. That's the main thing on the menu here. We're going to be learning all about how to work with the energetics of our shared universe, how to use intention to be able to influence physical matter from the subtle field. We're going to be learning how to trust our intuition, how to follow intuition. We're going to be learning how energy, the right energy added to anything in your life, will create a coherence and enhance whatever you're bringing that energy to. When it's the right energy at the right moment, in the right place, at the right time. And we're going to be exploring all of this so that you have it not just in your head as a concept, but all of my teachings specifically are like, I want it immediately in your body. My teachings are more penetrative. They're more of a transmission than they are like something I want you to write down and regurgitate, right? Because trust me, I have a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, a doctorate degree. I've done a lot of formal education. I've taken, board exams, GRE exams, licensing exams to be a psychotherapist, licensing exams to be a chiropractor, you name it. I have gone the route of binging and regurgitating and purging information. And it always left me really empty. When I began to work with energy, when I began to receive teachings in my body, I began to own it. I began to own my learnings and walk around with that ownership instead of the longing for what I was missing, what I didn't get. So you can expect that here. It's not going to be, there's not going to be tests or anything like that. It's like whoop, in your body. And then there's going to be journaling. There's going to be assignments, and the assignments are going to have some written components so that your head and your body are having a conversation, and you're able to basically just really take in what you're learning and alchemize it as part of you. I invite you to the Quantum Spine School to reveal the authenticity that pulses at the center of your spine, that initial essence that came here in that baby that you were. You still a version of you is still that baby, right? Perfect. The spine is more than the bones that protect it. The spine is an electrical conduit that can plug you into inner and outer realities for physical healing, consciousness shifts, and access to energy needed to make quantum leaps in all areas of your life. I've worked with tens of thousands of people, and I've seen the most miraculous things happen in people's health and people's diagnoses, people's relationships, people's money, people's businesses. And so have the teachers here. Every teacher actually that we have as not teachers, but we're calling ourselves guides here in the school, everyone you're going to learn from have actually held big fields and have like shepherded people through big initiations and in integrated ways. So we've really handpicked all of our guides here in a really beautiful way. And again, I believe that we're family. I believe that we're soul family, and our soul threads know to come here at this time for this specific frequency of the teaching here, because it's time to bring this healing to the planet in a bigger way. The Quantum Spine School isn't just about learning a methodology. It's about your own freedom and arrival as a catalyst for others. The spine is a living library of wisdom to alchemize. So that's why, when we go into the spine, our spine, like I was saying, when your channel gets muddled because something was too overwhelming in the moment to handle, whether it's physical, emotional, chemical, mental, spiritual, too much for your system, it's outside of your window of tolerance for your nervous system, the spine will twist. It will twist, it will bend, it will contract, it will compartmentalize, it will restrict, it will restrain, it will stop the flow of the channel, the pure channel, so that your human can still drive your vessel without running off a cliff. Or in medical terms, we'll call that a nervous breakdown, right? We don't want you to have a nervous breakdown. Your conditioning is what creates the the highway you drive your vessel on, and so as we clear the highway from all of its obstacles, your clear channel is able to run a lot more clearly through your system, and you're able to live a lot closer to your full self. Be your full self and claim highest alignment for all. That is literally it right there. This program is about being your full self and claiming the highest alignment for all. And the thing is, a lot of you are doctors and massage therapists and acupuncturists and healers as a profession, but a whole other lot of you are practitioners for your family and for your community and for the schools and for your political organizations and for your churches and your spiritual organizations and your yoga communities, And so that's what this community is. You can come here as a healer that you are, and it doesn't have to be your identity as a profession, although it can be. And as we move further into the school, I'm going to have a separate call just for healers as a profession. But right now, we're going to begin all together. So what are the 5 pillars? Pillar 1. Each one of these pillars is 3 months long, and they really continue through. Well, pillar 1 will continue throughout the entire journey and hopefully your entire life. Pillar 1 is about inner alchemy. This is what happens when you slow down enough to feel the energy within that is asking for healing, and you honor the energy with your presence, acknowledgement, and acceptance. The body has its own pace, and when you trust it to lead, it will show you its needs, desires, and fears. You'll be shown your way home. You will be fully supported here in a way that sees your authenticity and allows the extra energy you have been carrying around to fall away and recycle back to the universe for whoever needs it next. Whoever needs to learn that lesson that you've been carrying around, that extra burden that you've been carrying around. Once you alchemize it for yourself, we can just release that back out for someone else and lighten your load. In the inner alchemy area, we will be working with shadow work. We'll be working with how to set boundaries that protect self-love. We'll be working with victim consciousness, so you can sort of see like, oh yeah, where do I go into being a rescuer? Where do I go into being victimized? Where do I, where do I victimize others, right? Where do I need to use force or power to get my point across or to be seen? And we'll explore that. We'll explore the difference between service and sacrifice. Mainly, we want this because most healers, and definitely everyone I know that I went to chiropractic school with, went into practice and had all this unprocessed trauma in our bodies. And then we'd work with others and it would get triggered within us. And there was no conversation about this. So this is the number one thing we're doing in this school is we're starting there. We're cleaning out what's under the hood. We're alchemizing that stuff. And, it's a lifelong process, obviously, but we're starting the habit here, the habit of taking care of the self first, cleaning out the vessel, clearing the vessel, becoming aware of what's here. What am I holding when I go and I work with someone else's system? What is inside of me? What am I holding here? What am I bringing everywhere I go? The more awareness we have around that, the less we get confronted by triggers, projections, defense mechanisms, ego crap, all that stuff, right? That could like re-traumatize us if we don't understand what's happening. And we're going to be held in a community where it's safe. It's safe for that stuff to be seen and held and processed and celebrated. Even the ugliest, gnarliest stuff is celebrated here. Because really what it is you realizing that was fertilizer, going in, cleaning it out, and being able to grow from this beautiful garden you have within you to be able to grow your soul's expansion to the next level of its evolution of why it came here. Number 2 pillar is about wisdom and knowledge. So here I'll be teaching you everything that I can about the spine from a medical perspective and a mystical, esoteric perspective. It's where I teach you about the mysteries of the spine as your living and growing nervous system, aka your operating system. You will learn about the spine from a Western and Eastern perspective and be encouraged to embody the wisdom. This is something you'll never get in a textbook. Just as the spine, when energized, is alive, electric, and fluid, when it's ignored or expect it to be a certain way, it will deaden its magnificence. Same is true with embodiment learning versus textbook learning. One is very alive and one is not. One is more dense. So here you'll be learning from all of your guides and myself all about the spine from these very like mystical, esoteric ways, and the very Western, well, more medicalized ways. And I believe we're going to alternate it. Each week there'll be like, you'll learn about the meridians one week, and then the next week you're going to learn about like the nerve plexuses. And then you'll learn about how the chakra systems work together. And then you'll learn about like the discs and the motor unit of the joint. So you're going to be getting a really robust education here. Then the next pillar is about intentional enchantment. I like to call what I do enchantment because I've developed such a relationship with the field that all I have to do is like call upon a certain frequency and it comes to life. And then I am able to see it physically occur in someone's body. So it's enchanting. And we have that. It's not make-believe, it's real. When we begin to trust our intuition and we begin to trust how our intention works, and we begin to trust ourselves outside of our identity and our role, we become part of the field again. And the field is conscious, and we're able to work with that consciousness just through our focused intention. It's very, very powerful in this quantum way that we can make changes in the physical so much easier than the physical alone. So this is where you learn to let go of conventional sight as your primary vision. You will develop your sight in the space between things. Your felt sense of energy will be encouraged and invited. The language of frequency will be how you speak to one another here. Your confidence in the magic of your intuitive and feminine side will have a fertile space to grow and evolve. The fourth pillar is our crystalline channel. This is where you begin to work with spinal energy healing within yourself and others. You'll be working in pods. You'll learn about acquiring a detailed and specific history from a client that you're going to be working with, about their life events, their defense postures, their energetic distortions, and things that they're carrying in their spinal system. You'll get practice in working with the evolving conversation of energetic blueprints and assessing the function of someone's energy field. You'll get practice in holding coherent energy in your own field and how this affects others close to you and at a distance. This is where we crystallize through the body the impact the right energy at the perfect moment has on yourself and on others. So you're going to be working with someone here. If you are a healer by profession, we're going to ask you to invite one of your clients on a 3-month sort of journey where you're going to track them based on the work you're doing with them. If you are a healer for your family, your friends, your community, yourself, then we're going to ask you to choose either yourself or ideally like a family member or a friend that agrees to work with you. And you're going to be employing the energy work that we've been teaching you in pillar 3 and 2 into pillar number 4, where you're going to be working with a specific client on a specific challenge that they share with you. And we're going to work in pods, and we're going to sort of like it's going to be like molding and adapting and answering the call of the moment as you're working with someone, so they can really start to build the skill of not having a cookie cutter approach, but actually being able to listen to what's being truly asked for by another and being able to match and meet them exactly where they are. This is so powerful. I don't know any other school that offers this. And then we're going to get to like the part that I'm so excited about. I like all of it. I love all of this, but my most coveted, or the thing I'm most excited about, is number 5, which is the pillar of integrated confidence. And this is where we come together and we bring our case forward amongst a community of our peers, of each of us. And we present our case. We present what we did, what worked, what didn't work, what the chief challenge was, what the outcome was, what the journey was, what pivots that you took. This is where you might present their blood work. This is where maybe their hormone levels, maybe their posture exam. All these things you're going to learn here. So, we're not going to teach you how to read blood work, but your client will have, whoever gave the order for the blood work, we'll read it, and then we can make some, give you some tools around how to work with those types of things. But I just want to put that out there, that we're not reading the blood work. We're not reading the x-rays for anyone. But there are people that do that, and we'll teach you how to incorporate that into the fullness of your way of working with others. So pillar 5, this is where you get to stand in your power and cultivate that within yourself and hold that energy as a healer. This is where you get to stand in your leadership while presenting a case study to a room of your peers. This is where you get to see the truth of how coherent energy works as a reproducible and repeatable norm that you can count on. This is where your mind gets an opportunity to ground itself with confidence, as it sees how this is not just magic of the quantum energy field, but it's real. It's producing real life changes, and not just you, but also the ripples out to all of the people that you touch through your journey, not just in this inner circle, but how the ripples of what we're doing actually move like waves through the field of humanity, the field of this world. And, so many studies have been done on how one collective frequency that is operating in coherence at a high vibrational level can affect people on a whole nother continent. So that's our journey. Each phase is a 3-month phase. And again, the first phase is basically going to be throughout your whole life. And this is a little bit about me, your guide. I'm the founder of the Quantum Spine School. My journey began as a traditional master's in psychology. Then I got a doctorate degree in chiropractic. But my true transformation started when I ventured beyond institutional academics to deeply understand and heal myself. In healing my own spine, I discovered the profound and mystical teachings of ancient sages and healers. This journey of self-discovery and healing led me to see how these ancient principles align with and enhance traditional medical knowledge today. So we don't throw one out for the other, but we want to see, like, what are the roots before we just blindly employ what we learn externally. The Quantum Spine School is designed for personal and professional healers who desire to make a significant impact on humanity's future and deeply respect how we must first be the change. These are just some key themes that we're going to be working on in the teachings. Some of them are neuroanatomy, brainwave theory, victim consciousness, how to hold an energy field, Kundalini energy, attunement to the energy biofields, quantum medicine, liberating the wounded healer, just to name a few. Let's see. All right. Yep, there's still a few more of these bonus coaching calls that are going to be available too. I think there's 4 more left at this point. So if you are one of the next 4 people to enroll, you'll get one of those calls. The entire journey is a transformational process, like a caterpillar to a butterfly. I don't want you to get stuck in the goo. So I'm here for you, but you need to be here for the whole journey until you stretch out and grow your wings. Okay? This isn't the type of journey where you can get lost in the middle. Most people are going to be doing this pay in full. You save what, $445. You also are going to have a few extra bonuses that I'm going to be adding to your inbox throughout the journey for just the pay in full people. But you know, if that's not doable, you can definitely make it in payments. The payments would be $333 for 15 months. This is all non-refundable. So if you say yes, make sure you know what you're saying yes to, that you're saying yes to the full experience. And I'll be holding you and I'm saying yes to you. Some client love, some frequently asked questions. So here we are, we're at the end of this presentation. Thank you for staying with me. And it was some parts were getting a little chunky, but I hope you felt a lot of it in your body. I hope that you're feeling the desire for the school. I can't wait to be with you here. I can't wait for my soul's gifts to ripen along with yours on this journey together. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share here. Cool. Hi again. And we're going to end it. I just wanted to say one last thing is that I've held many of these containers, and I know a lot of you have been in a lot of, you know, learning containers online and stuff. And one thing is that, as you can probably already feel, even though this was a long call with no breaks, you felt a lot of this in your body, right? So when you're working with me on these calls, it's not heady. We're not just you don't feel like a bobblehead in a square on a Zoom call. You're going to be in your body. We're going to be together. And I have all of the course in this community called Mighty Networks. I actually love it. It's taken me a long time to love it. It's taken me a long time to understand all the nuances of it. And ultimately, I still feel it's the best tool for us because it's like going into a luxury hotel. And there's all these conference rooms there and meeting rooms. And then there's like the main like invitation to go into like the seminars and things like that. So it's like a robust folder. And now that we've moved basically out of the pandemic, I know a lot of people don't want to be on Zoom and stuff. And I feel you. I have that desire too. But because I also have another desire to work with you guys all over the world and not just in Marin County, California, it's important to have this portal and this way of connecting, right? And this larger community, because also like those of you that are in Australia and my other friends that are in Europe and Asia, and all over the US and all the other places that you are, you all have different perspectives, and all those perspectives are so valuable to the whole as we're all growing together. This is not a top-down model. This school is a model where everyone's contribution becomes the whole. So having you from so many different places is really valuable to me and to all the guides that are going to be guiding the school. So I wanted to just say that getting into Mighty Networks and all that stuff, it might feel heavy, like, oh my gosh, like another thing, another app. And, you know, and in it, I have like a journal space, and I'll show it to you in another call, but it's wonderful. And if you don't want to get that involved with all of it, you could, I'm going to set up all the teachings to be in a, like a secret podcast. So all you have to do is go into Spotify and play it in your car. Nice and light and easy. I'll have a Telegram group where we can just like chat back and forth, and that will be that. And then you come to the live events. And then let me just give you the calendar. Week 1 of the school is going to be the compass call. And that's directly with me. I'm going to work with each one of you individually based on like where your directionality is. And I'm going to help you align your compass to be in the highest alignment. It's going to be very intimate. You're going to get a lot of high touch from me in that call. So come. If that call ends up being more than 15 people, I'm going to split it up into more calls because I want it to be intimate again. The second week, so that's from 12 until 1:30 PST. That call is the one I really, really, really want you on. The second week, everyone's invited for free to come to Spinal Energy Flow, which is a spinal meditation that I teach to keep your central channel nourished, alive, vibrating, pulsating, and clear. So everyone's invited to that. That's from 12 to 1 on Tuesdays. And then the third Tuesday is going to be when I give the teachings. You can be present for those teachings, or you can watch the replays and do it at your own pace. There'll be little assignments that I hope you will do. They won't be large, and they're going to be for you. It's not for me. These assignments are for you and your development, and they won't be enormous. My intention is to keep it really, really digestible. The fourth week of each month is the one where you have your guest guides coming and giving you these unbelievable teachings that are going to be so exciting. I just can't wait to also receive these teachings from these people, because some of them are my own mentors and my own peers and my own like best friends that are doing incredible work that I want you to like sort of be able to model after, because they're people that I've seen like work through the smallness of self into their big full self and be able to be that in the world. And I want you to be able to be modeled that so that you can remember to come out, to come all the way out here. You are invited to come all the way out here. So I don't want to keep you on forever. I just wanted to give you all of that. I'm available for any kind of phone call, any kind of email, any kind of text. I'll answer any of your questions as we're going into the school. But yeah, I mean, I really feel like if you're called to this, just say yes. Everything else will come into place. Everything will come into alignment. Say yes to yourself here. Know that you are worthy of having this. You are worthy of having your full self here in your life. I mean, that's my biggest, if I was going to just say one thing, is that you're worthy of your full self being alive and expressed and fully here in your life, in your relationships, in your career, in your community, in your body. And I hope that I can help remind you of that. Okay. I think you can already tell there's going to be a lot here that you're going to learn. You're going to deeply, deeply excavate some old patterns, and you're going to deeply, deeply and in an embodied, integrated way, reprogram your nervous system to the frequency of your true self, and to be able to learn how to live that in this life, and learn healing tools to be able to bring this to others, to be those change makers of the world. And the future of the new world is going to be influenced by healers that know how to work with energy. So I invite you to come on forward, go to the landing page, click Enroll Me Now, and I'll see you inside the container. Bye-bye.